Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How's everybody getting along? Well, we've got some big-time weather to talk about from the west to the east coast. At least during the next 24 to 48 hours, basically across the parts of the deep south and out west, that'll be the active areas. We will see something move through parts of the northeast, too. Could have some thunder snow up here into parts of the northeast. Yeah, we got a vigorous trough of low pressure that'll be moving through. Take a look at that. And some of these could start as rain and end as some heavy wet snow with some thunder Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. But of course, the big story is what we're going to be talking about later on this week. Look at this. As we head towards the end of the week here, we're going to be looking right around the 30th and especially 31st into Friday. This a little feature right here, we could be looking at a major severe weather outbreak across parts of the eastern plains and into the Mississippi River Valley. Definitely going to keep an eye on this situation. We actually have an enhanced risk out to day 4. Let's get into it. All right, so I wanted to show you the 700 millibar jet here, low-level jet. Take a look at this. So this is Friday at 2 p.m. Wanted to show you this. Gives you a good idea of the tremendous amount of winds at the mid and lower levels here that these thunderstorms could really tap into. So watch this low-level jet roll across parts of the southern plains. Look at this, into parts of eastern Kansas. This is 5 p.m. So any thunderstorms that are forming in this area at this time could, tap into this, veer the winds with height, bring down those tremendous winds, and potentially produce not only damaging straight line winds, but also tornadoes. And watch this as we head throughout the evening. There's 8 p.m. There's 11 p.m. So the threat really translates to the east here into parts of Illinois, down and through Arkansas, Indiana, and I would not be surprised if we backbuild here throughout parts of the rest of Arkansas as well. Now watch this as we continue to go in time. Look at this. This actually heads to the east, and that's why in Ohio, Kentucky, western Pennsylvania, western New York, as we head into Saturday morning, I definitely want you to keep an eye on this because this could actually translate to a convective line all the way to the east with some damaging wind. All right, so another side of this system that we're going to take a look at is the strong wind gusts. Now take a look at this. This doesn't even account for thunderstorms bringing down stronger winds. This is just generalized wind gusts over a 6-hour period here. So we're starting late Friday evening here, a couple hours before midnight. Look at the amount of wind here in parts of Kansas, upwards of 60, 65 miles per hour. Now watch. I mean, look at the amount of wind here. I mean, above 30 miles per hour, you're looking at a large area, but look at this area in the upper 40s to low 50 mile per hour range from Ohio all the way to Missouri. This is a crazy area of real estate, and as we head throughout the night, Friday night, into early Saturday morning, we're really starting to intensify some of these winds into parts of Illinois and Indiana. And look at that. Those winds translate to the east. Look at this. This is just afternoon Saturday. We could be looking at wind gusts in the 50 to 60 mile per hour range with this system. And that's not even accounting for any thunderstorms which could intensify. And as we head throughout the day on Saturday, it is just going to be a tremendously windy day across parts of the Ohio Valley into the northeast. All right, so the prospect of thunder snow here before we get into the rest of your severe weather outlook for Friday into Saturday. Take a look at this. We're going to be looking at a line of convection. This is 3 p.m. on Wednesday. So yeah, it's just going to be approaching the Cleveland area, Buffalo area, just to your west. Is going to start as a period of rain, sleet pellets, and mix with and change to a heavy wet snow with the potential for some convective elements, meaning thunder. Look at this. Yeah. East end of Lake Ontario, I think you'll start, the best chance of snow on the back edge of this line is just the eastern suburbs of Cleveland on Northeastern, where you could pick up a slushy inch or so, especially above 1,200 feet. Now, watch as we continue throughout the evening. This is 5 p.m., 6 p.m., so you're getting into your evening commute, or the end of your evening commute here. Yeah, it is starting as a period of rain, but look at that. By this point, at 7 p.m., it looks like it's out of Cleveland, Erie, and Buffalo by this time. So this thing is booking it across Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. It's approaching the Binghamton area. So yeah, as I said, it's going to catch you off guard. It's going to start as some, get southwest winds gusting up to 40, 45 miles per hour, and quickly those winds will veer to the northwest, west and northwest, and you'll end as some heavy wet snow. There will be a flash freeze potential as well, so please watch out for that. But yeah, as I said before, some of you could be looking at some thundersnow, and this is booking it through the Catskills, Poconos, and lower Hudson Valley by 11 p.m. on Friday evening. And this continues to the east. Watch out, the back edge there into Vermont, New Hampshire, and parts of Maine. You could pick up a quick 2 to 3 inches above 1,600 feet there. But look at this, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you're out of Boston by 4 a.m., and you're way up into Maine by this time. All right, so I wanted to analyze the Cape here. We can't really get onto the mesoscale models this far out, but, I brought up the main regular global models here, and you can see, look at the Cape here. Some of this, on the southern end, is going to amount to much, but look at here on the northern end up towards Iowa and Missouri. This is 2 p.m. on Friday, March 31st. Now, as we take a look here, we can kind of see the color coding here, 2,609 joules per kilogram. Yeah, that's a lot of Cape here into this yellow zone. And let's take a look and kind of progress a little bit and see how this Cape, convective available potential energy, it's basically food for the thunderstorms. That kind of congeals to the east here. This is towards 8 p.m. So you get into these green zones. We're still in an area here where we could have explosive development on the order of, 1,800 to 2,200 joules per kilogram at this point. And pretty much beyond this, if we want to take a look and analyze, this, it kind of progresses to the east. And look at some of these light green areas up here into parts of eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania. This is towards 5 a.m. on Saturday morning. So I cannot rule out some strong thunderstorms in this region here as we head towards, sunrise on Saturday morning. It could get very interesting. All right, so since the mesoscale models don't go out far enough for this event yet, it is going to be interesting to see. We'll take a look here at we can't get to the SIGTOR just yet. Look at this. This is the Supercell composite. So as we start out on 5 a.m. on Tuesday, we could start out, there is a high risk of supercells here in eastern Kansas, Nebraska, and Oklahoma, and parts of north central Texas. We're going to have to watch as this unfolds because as we go throughout the day, take a look at this. See, that progresses to the east. This is by 2 p.m., and the threat shifts towards say the Mississippi River Valley here towards 5 p.m. And this is where we're going to start to really see things really take off here with potential tornadoes. I think we're going to see a tremendous amount of problems, especially as we head just west of Memphis by this point and then heading into the Memphis area. So I definitely watch this area as well. I'm really deeply concerned because the ingredients seem to be coming together here for a massive severe weather outbreak. All right, so as we get into the bulk shear here, the veering of the winds with height, we're going to take a look here as we head throughout the day on Friday. So those values really start to come together. Let's back it up one frame. This is a couple hours afternoon on Friday. Look where it starts to veer the most here into parts of Iowa, Missouri. That's lining up with the highest value of Cape here. And as we continue in time, you can see, I'm really concerned about parts of Illinois, Missouri, and as we head southward as well here. Take a look at this. We're going to take a look at the big picture. So I wanted to show you the 700 millibar wind overlay here in knots, and I wanted to show you this low level jet that starts to pummel into parts of the Mississippi Valley. So you can see, let's just back that up one frame. Let me see if I can get a more zoomed in regional view here. So let's take a look here. We're going to head throughout. I don't know. Yeah, this is probably going to be it here. This is not a bad view. So as we head towards, there's Thursday. As we head into Friday here, you start to see this low-level jet here into eastern part of Oklahoma, and then it just explodes across parts of Missouri into Illinois here. Look at this. This is just before midnight, Friday evening here. This is crazy. Look at this. This is in excess of 65 to 75 knots plus, close to 80. And this is going to bring the possibility of this tornado threat here into parts of Illinois, western Kentucky, Tennessee, eastern part of Missouri, and northeastern part of Arkansas. Now, it's not to say these thunderstorms won't extend further south, but, most of the dynamics of the veering winds of height, wind shear, all of that, look at this. This is a tremendous amount of wind that could be brought to the surface, and some of this is going to be turning with height. So this really gets into the fact that any convective explosive development, not just in the supercells themselves, but on the actual squall line that develops along and ahead of the front, could bring those tremendous downdrafts into some of these mesoscale systems. And, you're going to have tremendous amount of rotation with this. This thing's really come together around midnight and between midnight and 4 a.m. on early Saturday morning. So this is a crazy outbreak, and look at how it just strengthens as it heads to the east. So any convection across parts of Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky by this point, even into western Pennsylvania, could be bringing some of those stronger winds at this point, straight line winds, down to the surface. All right, so let's take a look at our upper air height anomalies, getting an idea of what's going on upstairs at 500 millibars so we can figure out what's going on downstairs. So Friday, there's that big ridge as we continue across the east really kicking in, trough kicking in behind it. This is what's giving us that severe weather outbreak, and look at that. It punctures right through the ridge into Saturday. Yeah, bringing the big old trough and much colder, windier weather, but that is short-lived. Look at that as we head into Monday into Tuesday. That Firecracker Ridge just keeps trying to form back, and look at out west here. We're continuing with that tremendous troughiness. There's another trough into parts of the Midwest with that next severe weather outbreak heading further to the north, but this time it doesn't have much of a chance to break down this ridge, and we continue to warm things across parts of the east, and look at out west there. That troughiness just reinforcing itself. All right, so let's take a look at the European model here. Always nice to take a look at one of our major global models. So here we go. There's that system, that piece of energy out west here. That's going to be pinwheeling down the California coast. And there's that system across the Northeast that I showed you pretty nicely on the mesoscale models. Pretty much in agreement. It's going to head to the east and weaken as it approaches the Boston area later on Thursday morning, for that matter. And high pressure builds in there across the east, but look at what starts to develop here. That low pressure ejects out here into the plains, and we got a big old problem starting here. Look how much farther to the north is. It's going to bring up all that juicy air that's made for developing thunderstorms. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of instability. This is Friday morning, just around sunrise. You can see we initially have, you can basically see it here, a warm front. So we're going to have some showers and thunderstorms on the northern and eastern side of this initially. But look what starts to fire here into parts of the southern plains. Yeah, big time thunderstorms. This is going to just blossom throughout the morning into the afternoon hours. Look at this. This is right at noon, 1 p.m. time frame. We're going to start this severe weather outbreak, and things are going to start exploding here. You can see here on the European model run, things are just getting out of control. And it looks like we're going to, according to the European model here, have two areas of concern initially up here towards west of Chicago and then down here into parts of the Mississippi River Valley. But it starts to consolidate. You can see as we head towards sunset here, yeah, we start to get a solid squall line developing here. It's not going to be that far south there. Kind of nicks that a little bit, but look it up into parts of Illinois. It's going to be some bad weather here. That's going to continue to the east. You can see Saturday morning. Would not be surprised if the squall line does hold together as it heads into Ohio. So definitely have your NOAA radios, your phones with alerts and whatnot. And that layer of, let's get that out of the way, that layer of convection moves into parts of western Pennsylvania. This is just after sunrise on Saturday morning. So things could get really frisky. Any for that matter, you're going to be looking at some tremendous winds out of this too. Southwesterly winds on the order of 40, 50 miles per hour easily. Look what starts to pinwheel on the backside. Let's just go back a couple frames. Chicago might end as a period of wet snow. Look at this. There is going to be a blizzard definitely on the north side of this. Yeah, so as we head towards areas that were getting severe weather in parts of Iowa and Illinois, yeah, this is going to pivot around. You can see Saturday, we could be looking at snowfall rates of 1, 2, maybe 3 inches an hour here, especially north of Chicago into the northern part of Michigan here. So as that continues to the east, look at this. It does start to occlude a bit. You're going to end as a period of wet snow in Cleveland here, Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, New York. I don't think you're going to get tremendous accumulation, but I cannot rule out the fact that you maybe get up to an inch or two, especially a little bit in higher elevations and just a little bit away from the lake there, the warmth of the lake. So yeah, things are going to be kind of interesting here as this system pulls away, high pressure builds in. And look at this, we get another potential severe weather starting to return next Monday, April 3rd here. And a look at the broken record here. It just looks like a carbon copy. This low pressure coming out of the plains here and out of the Rockies. And look at it's going to start to fire some big time thunderstorms next Tuesday. So we're going to be looking at the prospect here of a broken record pattern, and we're going to see these successive severe weather events just pummel parts of the Mississippi and Ohio River Valley. So get ready. It's going to be a wild ride, and I don't see this pattern breaking anytime soon. Look at this here across the south. These kind of become a big old gully washer threat as this main energy moves up into parts of the lakes here. All right, so as we take a look at what the European model's forecasting through the midpoint of this weekend, yeah, look at that. Yeah, some of that falls as liquid, but some of that also falls as snow. We'll be getting to snowfall amounts here with the European model. Also, we're going to be looking at the potential for some heavy rains here all the way up into parts of the Northeast, especially interior Northeast, although you do see a rain shadow here into parts of the mid-Atlantic once again. But we're going to be averaging 3/4 to 1.5 inches of rain out of this. All right, so let's take a look at some wintry weather. I know we're in the springtime, but look at what could happen here on the northern side of this system, and is probably likely to happen at this point. Yeah, we could be looking at a big old snowstorm across parts of southeastern Minnesota, extreme northern parts of Iowa, just north of Chicago, across southern Wisconsin, heading into northern Michigan here. So this is where we could see those snowfall totals approach warning criteria, especially if it happens. Say we just back this up just a little bit. So a lot of this could be falling Saturday morning. So before the sun rises, let's zoom in on that. All right, so here we go. Let's move it through the snowfall forecast here. There it is. Yeah, and it could accumulate to these levels simply because a lot of this is going to be falling in the night and the early morning hours of Saturday morning. So get prepared. This could be a heavy wet snow, could bring down some trees and power lines, probably looking potentially at 6 to 10 inches with locally higher, closer to a foot to 14 inches. So please, especially north of Chicago here, right around central or south central part of Wisconsin here into northern Michigan, and definitely back towards parts of southern Minnesota here and northeastern Iowa. All right, so this time of year, you don't have to worry about anything in the tropics. Hello to all my Caribbean viewers, Central America, Gulf of Mexico, all the Caribbean islands. How are you all doing? Well, we're going to have a lot to talk about as we go into this tropical season. I am working on my Hurricane 2023 outlook here. So 2023, we'll see what the season beholds shortly. All right, so Western Pacific here, I want to give you, there's going to be some interesting things happening. As I go on in this little segment, definitely watch this area because things are going to start exploding here. So yeah, we got this cyclone out here. And look at the Philippines. You know, you've been mostly dry, so you're going to get some shower activity here. Let's get my big old red pencil. So here it is. We got this system off the China coastline here. Showers and thunderstorms south and southwest of Shanghai. Looking good up here in Japan for the rest of your sakura season, your cherry blossom season. So hopefully you get some good viewing going on there. I'd love to get over there and see those taking a look at all the photos and videos of them, it just looks magical over there this time of year. But take a look at this as we continue in time. What's going on here across the Philippines and up towards parts of China and beyond, especially the intertropical convergence zone out here. We don't have too much to talk about initially. So this takes us through April 5th. We got this cold core system up here. It's approaching parts of South Korea here into parts of western and southwestern Japan. But as we head down through the Philippines, you know, we don't have too much to talk about, at least through the first week of April. Now, watch what starts to happen out here in the intertropical convergence zone. I want you to watch this area right here. This is going to be persistent. You know, this is pretty far out, so I definitely want you to stay tuned as time goes on. But the trend has been, look at this. This is towards April 10th. To get some sort of typhoon or tropical system riding out of this. So this would be, you know, as we head towards mid-April here. This is April 10th, so let's head beyond the 300 hour. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. When you start seeing this kind of stuff, take it with a grain of salt, but the pattern is there. Look at that. And this time of year, of course, if we have a typhoon develop, they can try to spin northward, but trying to get these typhoons up to Japan this time of year, it's not easy, especially since, we're nowhere near summertime. I mean, it can happen, but it's very unlikely at this point. But this is kind of stuck out here towards April 13th, 2 p.m. So as we go into April, I want everybody to be watching, especially in the Philippines here. All right, so let's take a look at temperatures here as we head throughout. There's Thursday morning. Look at that. So as we head throughout the rest of Thursday, there's your highs. Yeah, we're going to start. Look at this warmth in Florida. Some areas approaching 90, especially on the west coast of Florida. Getting up into the 70s in parts of Texas, all the way up into parts of the plains on the east end of this Colorado low. That's going to be causing all our severe weather. There is Friday morning. There's your lows. Yeah, not too bad here. The warmth is going to be blasting to the north throughout the day, though, on those strong southwesterly winds. Look at 60s all the way up into Chicago, parts of the mid-Atlantic, and look at that, 90s across parts of central and southern Texas and parts of Florida here. It is going to be feeling like a firecracker here as we head throughout the rest of the evening, Friday evening with that severe weather. You're staying well into the 60s, spreading eastward to Ohio. That's why I think we'll still have that potential. You're still in the warm sector here. Strong to severe thunderstorms. Please stay tuned. This might head pretty far to the east here. And look at that. Saturday morning, late morning, we're getting into 61 in Rochester. 50, upper 50s, lower 60s, and we just continue to stream that cold or that warm air out ahead of this sharp cold front. So look at that. We're getting well into the 60s for your Saturday, but it will be wind-driven rain, potential for some thunderstorms, and temperatures crash throughout the day. Look at that. Your early morning highs will be in the 60s. You'll be ending late afternoon in the 30s and upper near 40 degrees. Look at that. And that blast to the east for Sunday. There's Sunday morning. We warm it up Sunday afternoon. It will be howling winds into the northeast. Extended outlook from hometown viewers. Being into the Scranton's upper Susquehanna River Valley. Look at this. Wednesday, increasing clouds, turning windy. Wind gusts up to 20, 25 miles an hour. Wednesday night, we have that Arctic front. Will start as a period of rain in the evening, transitioning over to sleet pellets and heavy wet snow. Right along the front, we'll see a big wind shift, winds gusting upwards of 40, 45 miles an hour. Thundersnow is possible. 1 to 2 inches above 1,200 feet, down to 19. So watch out for flash freeze. Blusterier conditions into Thursday, 38 for a high. Friday, showers moving in with the next system above the warm front. Saturday, we could have some stronger thunderstorms. Damaging wind gusts would be the main threat, especially early in the morning. 68 an early morning high with temperatures tumbling. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern and Weather Eastern. Don't forget Facebook MeteoMark, Weather Northeastern. Also, Hurricane Northeastern at Susquehanna Weather for my local page. And guess what? MeteoMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com is Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget, question or comment down below. Smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell button, share the video. And thanks for joining me.